The Bronx. The Bronx is where hip-hop was born, where the Yankees became a dynasty, and where you can find New York City's leading zoo and botanical garden. The Bronx is the northernmost of the five boroughs of New York City in the U.S. state of New York, located north of Manhattan and Queens, and south of Westchester County. The Bronx is the only borough that is located primarily on the mainland. The borough has a land area of 42 square miles. Of the five boroughs, the Bronx has the fourth largest inland area, the fourth highest population, and the third highest population density. The Bronx offers you fantastic cultural and beautiful places like Yankee Stadium, Wave Hill, and many other popular boring places.
The hip-hop culture began in 1970 among African Americans in the South Bronx. DJ Kool Herc is credited as the father of hip-hop. He mixed existing records with his own shouts to the crowd and dances. And some other celebrities that's grown up in the Bronx is Al Pacino. He grew up in East Harlem, and Jennifer Lopez grew up in Castle High, and then Woody Allen was born in the Bronx but grew up in Manhattan.
The Bronx is considered to be the most diverse area of the country, with a residence on 1.4 million people. And here we have a map of the population. 46% of the population is white, 43% is black or African American, 4% is Asian, and 7% is of more minor races. And of any of those races, 55% of the population is of Hispanic or Latino origin, as you can see on the red colors. The Bronx is the neighborhood with the highest poverty, with a rate on 27%, and here on the map you can see that the majority of the poverty is in the areas with Hispanic residents, which also has a high criminality and unemployment.
Most street gangs are in the South Bronx. In the South Bronx, there are nearly 60 different street crews, and the members are down to 8 years old. There are a new mafia, a ruthless Bronx-based cabal of drug dealers and gun runners, that officials call the most dangerous gang in the city. The Magballer Brims, a set of the national blood gangs, from a terrifying band of crime-happy hoods who own much of New York's street drug trade and dominate Rikers Island, while they control the contraband and decide who lives and dies. Police and jail sources say. Top dogs in the city, said one law enforcement source. There are more of them than any other bloods, and they are highly organized, extremely violent, very powerful. Other gangs fear them. In the 1970s, exploded the numbers in street gangs, and they support themselves with drug dealing, and they started to control a lot of the buildings, and which led to crime and fear to nearby unaffected apartments.
The Bronx is a city in New York, and there are about 1,400,018,733 inhabitants. It is connected to the neighbor cities Manhattan and Queens through the tunnels and bridges. And between the Bronx there are Manhattan and its very famous river, Harlem River. It's running through these two cities. Yeah, and part of the Bronx in the 1970s experienced a substantial decline, and there has been invested a lot in heavy house renovations in the part of the city, and the part of the Bronx are still a very wanted place for gangs and gang members and criminals, and especially the South Bronx is known as by its many ghettos and very high crime in the city and a high unemployment. And many people in the ghettos get a public assistance, but they are literally having a hard life with high poverty in their society. Yeah.